I will be talking about my favorite subject, extreme weather. We often talk about extreme weather. By extreme weather, I mean heat waves, floods, and drought documents. However, in my talk, I will also talk about the other kind of extreme weather. I called it cold extreme weather. And we have to ask question that in the last few years, extreme cold, lots of snow, and long winters have increased. UN body doesn't say that. UN body says that snow will be gone from the land area in next 15 or 20 years. What we see is totally different. Lots of snow, so why is it happening? Anyway, let's go. I've got lots of slides. Let's go to the next one. Okay, are extreme weather on the rise? Short answer, no. The long answer, no, no, no. Extreme weather were always in the Earth's climate. If you go back 1800, there were extreme weather events. If you go back 1500, there were extreme weather events. Now, during the Little Ice Age, Europe was extremely cold, and there were extreme events, extreme cold, and extreme wind, and maybe there were extreme rainfall. We don't have all the record. So extreme weather were always there. Now there are two groups of scientists. IPCC is the UN body established 1988. NIPCC, your climate realist has a reference to NIPCC. That was established 2007, and I belong to NIPCC. I have helped prepared a few reports. So these two groups of scientists have totally different view of the climate. IPCC keeps saying that we are heading into what we call as a climate catastrophe. Lots of extreme weather events everywhere. Droughts in one area, extreme flood in another area, extremely hot weather in some area, and so on. And humanity will not be able to live. We don't believe that. NIPCC says that the climate is changing, but very slowly. All we have to do is adapt to that climate. We do not see any climate catastrophe, as they call it. So these are two totally different viewpoints of two different groups of scientists. Now, I quickly give you the mechanics of extreme weather. What IPCC says is when the climate becomes warm, lots of moisture. And so this moisture comes down as rain in one area and no rain in another area. And IPCC says because of that, because the climate is warming, we have heat waves, extreme heat in some parts, and so on. What we say, extreme weather is part of Earth's climate. There were always extreme weather events. We have thunderstorms and tornadoes. In Norway, I think you have some heavy rain sometimes, or you have some extreme cold about which I will be talking. So extreme weather is nothing new. Now this is the IPCC table, 2007. So if you can read through that, what they are saying is that in the 21st century, we will see more extreme weather like heat waves in some area, droughts in some other area, extreme floods in some other areas, and hurricanes and typhoons and tropical cyclones becoming very strong in some areas and killing more people and putting lots of people in danger as the hurricane moved through various regions. Now let's look at the IPCC projection. Warm weather extremes is what IPCC says: heat waves, droughts, and floods. IPCC also says that from now on, winters will be very mild, and there will not be any snow in 15 to 20 years. Now, what is the reality, climate reality? Warm weather events, that is heat waves or floods and droughts, they are the same as they were 50 years ago. They haven't increased. Interestingly, what is increased is cold weather events. I will show you lots of snow in some parts in last 5 years, extreme cold in some parts. Even in northern India, where I originally come from, winters have become very cold. In 2011-12 winter, several hundred people died of long cold winters because they were living in rather poor houses, you see. Day long they feel cold, and elderly people who are not doing well. So early morning temperature is 0 degrees, afternoon only 10 degrees. Their houses are not heated and they suffer. Now, what I said is that it's the media, the newspaper keep talking about, oh, extreme weather are increasing. Every day they say, oh, there was flood there. Oh, that is because of global warming. There was drought in some area. Oh, that is definitely because people are driving lots of cars, which is not true. So just look at quickly some of these. These are mostly from Canadian. Oh. Now look at this. This is Toronto Star. You see, going back to 1997, bleak forecast. What kind of bleak forecast? Weather worse than it used to be. Canadians warned of extreme weather, more extreme weather in future. Okay. Now, climate at record extreme. This is 2005 December. Headline news. Now, Time magazine once upon a time was a leader in promoting global warming. Arctic is melting, polar bears are disappearing. That is not true. Lots of polar bear today, more than they were 50 years ago. This is our Canadian magazine. The winter of 2012 was very mild, so they declared that there is no more winter in Canada. That is simply not true. Just 2 years ago, Toronto in February was minus 35 degrees for 2 weeks in February. Now let's look at heat waves. In North America, US and Canada, where I live in Canada last 48 years, but in the US Midwest, the 1920s and 1930s were the hottest years. Why it happened, we don't know. Even other parts were very hot. Like part of Europe was very hot, Australia was very hot, parts of Africa were very hot. So why climate became so hot in 20s and 30s, even in early 1500, we still do not know. The recent heat wave, that is 2016 in the United States and 2010, there was a very severe heat wave in Russia, 2010. Some 30,000 people died. And in 2003 in France, some 25, mostly elderly people died because of 1 month long. Paris temperature was 38 and 40 degrees for several afternoons. And most unfortunately, people died of dehydration. They were in the rooms with no circulation and so on. But those heat waves had nothing to do with CO2. They were part of natural variability. Now you can see this graph. The 1920s and 30s in the United States was the hottest. Now if you see now, 2000, it is not as hot as it was in 1920s and 30s. This is Toronto heat wave, 1936, 80 years ago. July 5 to 12, 1936. Afternoon temperature 41 degrees for 3 days, and in 1936 not air conditioning were available, so some 1,000 people died in Toronto and around. I think I pushed too quickly. Yeah? Now some of the highest temperature.
I can control it.
Oh, thank you. Now some of the highest temperatures, Libya 58 degrees in 1922. Canada's highest 45 degrees in 1937. Toronto's highest 41 degrees, 1936. US highest 58, 57, in 1913. So you have to ask, only China had high temperature 43 in 2006. So world's highest temperatures were recorded in 1920s and 13. Why? Probably because of sun. And Jan Erik might know. Okay, now thunderstorms and tornadoes. Now highest thunderstorm activity in United States in the 30s and 40s, not now. Now you can see deadliest tornadoes, 18th March 1925, 747 people died. So tornado activity is coming down right now. Can you have the next one too? Now this is tornado count, intense tornado, F3 and above. So as you can see, it is not increasing. There are a few years, 2011, there was a lot of tornadoes. Now they are lower. Can you have the next one? Now this is the tornado count, what is called as the local severe storms. So if you see this number, 841, this is for 2016. So till about 15th of August, about 841 local storms. Now in United States, average in 1 year between 800 and 1,000 tornadoes occur. So there is nothing new about it. So that green line was 2011, and very severe tornadoes and a lot of damage was done. But since then, the tornadoes are coming down. So this extreme weather event is not increasing, it is actually coming down in some part. Can we have the next one? Now hurricanes, typhoons and tropical cyclones. The UN body says we will have more intense hurricane. No, it is not true. Or more intense typhoons in the Pacific and more number. In fact, hurricanes have almost disappeared from United States. The last severe hurricane was 2005 August, Hurricane Katrina. I will talk about it later. In 2012, there was a Hurricane Sandy, but that was not very strong. And this year, there was only one hurricane which hit Florida, but that was only Category 1. And one hurricane went to California, Mexico and California. It gave some rain, much needed rain. Now it is 17 September today. I think end of October, that is a hurricane season. Sometimes in November, but very rarely. So we may not have a big hurricane this year again. So what happened to hurricanes? We don't know. Next one. Now this is typhoons in the Pacific. So as you can see, they go up and down and up and down, but they are not increasing. The next one. This is Bay of Bengal in the Indian subcontinent. They have some tropical storms. Once again, they are going up and down. So there is no increasing value to that. Can we have the next one too? Now, extreme precipitation. The UN body says that because of global warming, the precipitation will come down very heavily. But if you look at precipitation, then some of the heaviest precipitation is associated with hurricanes and tropical cyclones. Now, just if you can read these numbers, 24-hour precipitation, 182 centimeters. That's a lot of rainfall. I think some places in Norway may not get that rainfall in one whole year. And Cherrapunji in India is considered as the wettest spot on the earth. For 4 months, it gets 400 inches or 1,000 centimeters of rain. So in July 86, 930 centimeter rain in 1 month. Can you believe this? And in year 1860-61, 2,600 centimeters of rain fell in 1 year. So in all monsoon region, not just India, Bangladesh, Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, it rains very heavily in short time. So when this UN body says human activity has increased rain intensity, that is simply not true, you see. Just because you drive lots of cars, the rain is coming heavily. No, it is not true. Certainly not in the monsoon climate, you see. Maybe in some cities in Europe, London might get some heavy rain, but so what? I mean, heavy rain is nothing to be afraid of, and it is not increasing worldwide. Can we have the next one? Now, droughts, floods, and ENSO. I think you might all know about the word ENSO. It is called an acronym, El Nino Southern Oscillation. El Nino is a warm current that shows up, and warm water shows up off the coast of South America, normally around December. So El Nino is a Spanish name meaning Christmas child, because it normally appears during Christmas. And it appears along with a pressure oscillation along the equator called Southern Oscillation. So both together are known as ENSO. So whenever there is a strong ENSO, you have droughts in some parts and floods in another part. So floods and droughts have nothing to do with CO2. They are related to ENSO events. Can we go to the next one? Now this is an important El Nino. This is September of 1997. Now look at the warm water of the coast of South America. That area of warm water, 2-degree temperature higher than normal, and in the center as much as 5 degrees. And that warm water area is as big as area or 3/4 of area of Canada. So it's a very large area. And because warm water comes there, according to some well-known meteorologists, Jacob Bjerknes was the most famous Swedish meteorologist, and his father, Wilhelm Bjerknes, who started the Bergen University some 100 years ago. So Jacob Bjerknes has shown that when you have a very warm water there, you have circulations from America to India, it's motion going down. So a strong El Nino, no monsoon. Monsoon is very weak. While Canada and US, good rains. So El Nino produces droughts in some area, floods in another area. And it also produces temperature, it goes up. You can see here, 1998 was the warmest year. That is because of the 1997 El Nino. And this year, 2016, might be another warmest year because of El Nino of 2015. It is now more or less over. The El Nino is more or less over. But we will see the temperature changes till 2016. But 2017 and next few years are expected temperature to go down. Can we have the next one too? Now, summer monsoon in India. I lived in India for about 27 years, and last 52, 53 years I'm living in Canada and US, and I have seen many monsoon, and I still study monsoon. Now today, India's population is about 1.3 billion. Norway is what, 5 million? So about 220 times population of Norway. It's a very large population. It's after China. China has 1.35, India. So summer monsoon is very important. A good monsoon rain gives good grain, rice, beans, and in winter time wheat. And people are happy, lots of food. So you can see monsoon variability. Can we have the next slide, please? Now you can see this. Some of the worst droughts were irregularly, see? Like, oh, can you go back to the, so I think some of these recent droughts were 2009, before that 1987, 1972, earlier 1918, then 1895, and so on. They were all connected with extreme El Nino condition. While some of the good monsoon rain or flood year were connected with the opposite of El Nino called La Nina. That's another Spanish word meaning the girl. So this Christmas child boy, the La Nina is called girl. So we often say, oh, this is a La Nina year. And we are into a La Nina condition. So this year, the monsoon rains were very good in India. Can we have the next one too? Now this is 2009 drought. See, you can see very little rain in most of India. If you put the next one, 2010, lots of rain, and in 2010, in third week of August, Pakistan, oh, can you just go back? Pakistan received lots of rain, and 20% of Pakistan area was underwater for 2 weeks. Unfortunately, 2,000 people died. And once again, the media kept saying, oh, this is all because of CO2, this is all because of global warming, and all because lots of people are driving cars, big cars. No, that is not true. It was just natural variability of the monsoon rain. Can we go to the next one? Now I'm talking about, are winter extremes becoming more and more? It is something we have to think about. I don't know about Norway, but Eastern Europe had extreme cold winters in 2012, again in 2013. Canada and US had the longest, snowiest, and coldest winter 2013 and 14. Now let's look at this. Now this is this year. January 20, 2016, this is Washington, 2 feet of snow. No snow clearing, offices in Washington were closed for 1 week. And the damage, $1 billion. The next one, following week, same, this 8 months ago, Taiwan and South Asia. Unusual cold wave, 85 people died. So 1 week in Washington, next week in Taiwan. So we have more cold weather events. The next one, Now this is Alaska 2012 March. In 1 week, 380 centimeters of snow fell in Alaska. Even for Alaska, a lot of snow. That amount of snow Alaska has not seen in many years. The next one. This is a ski resort in the Canadian Rocky Mountain. They had a record-breaking snow, 910 centimeters in one season. If I can just show one here. This is a newspaper I got with me. Chernobyl roof collapses under heavy snow. This is 2013. So the question is, the UN body IPCC says that it says in 2007, in next 10 to 20 years, snow will be gone from the land area. And what we have 8 years down the road, we have more and more snow. So what's happening to the climate? Is climate cooling or warming? I think Jan-Erik has a better answer than me. Okay, let's go to the next few slides. I'm almost finished. Now, heavy snowfall and extreme cold since 2012. I have just listed a few of them. There are many more such events. Just to give one, 2012 February, Eastern Europe, Czech Republic had a temperature of -40 degrees for 1 week in some parts. And several dozen people in Czech Republic died of extreme cold. In 2005-06 winter, about 100 people died in Poland because of extreme cold. 2013, very heavy snow in northern Germany and parts of France. On the German autobahns, there were reports of 50-kilometer long lineup because the traffic was very slow. March 2013, Berlin was coldest in 100 years. Before that, 2013-14, coldest, longest winter in US and Canada. 2015, coldest February in Toronto, -35 degrees for 2 weeks. Also a lot of snow. Boston had 300 centimeters of snow in winter of 2015. Also, February of 2015, you may have read about the report, in the Panjshir Valley in Afghanistan, heavy snow avalanches killed 250 people. So heavy snow in Japan in 2013, several snowstorms. Also parts of China. Also, I said earlier, northern India, in the Kashmir region and in the northwest, more snow in last 10 years, every year, compared to, say, 1980s and 1990s. So, if the climate is warming, why so much snow in so many areas? We don't know. Last couple of slides now. Now, winter can inflict severe economic damage. This is 2013. Economic freeze in Canada, economy was down by 5% in winter of 2014. The next one, this is United States. In the first quarter of 2014, the US economic growth rate was only 0.5% instead of 2% as the economists had predicted. And the reason was too much snow, a lot of disruption, not too many people would go to Walmart to do shopping, you see, because it was too cold. And so the economy was down. To the next one. I have made some preliminary calculations about economic impact of extreme cold weather. The UN body or nobody else has done that so far. So I say in 2012-13, Europe had economic damage of $50 billion. because Danube River was frozen till end of May, so no shipping, and lots of people died. So it's an estimate. It needs to be corrected. 2013-14, US, Canada, $125 billion. Japan, China, 20 billion. 2015, US, 25 billion. Canada, 5 to 10 billion. So what I'm trying to show here is that there is more and more economic damage because of cold extremes. And the UN body doesn't talk about it. Now let's see the next slide. It is interesting. It shows the Munich Re Insurance, which is the largest insurance company in the world, which insures against weather disaster. So what you see is that in the last 15 years, the economic damage due to extreme weather is coming down. It is not increasing. So this shows that extreme weather events are not increasing. They are about the same. They are going down a little bit. Now, if you see this 2005, that is Hurricane Katrina. That was the most expensive hurricane in American history. One hurricane caused a damage of $170 billion. In 2011, lots of tornadoes created a very extensive damage. So that's why you see this 2005 and 2011 spikes. But otherwise, the damage is going down. So when the UN body says lots of extreme weather events, that is not true. The damage is going down. So if CO2 has increased, it is not causing extreme weather events. Okay, final two slides, I think. Now, my conclusions are there is no link between global warming and extreme weather. Extreme weather events today are no different than extreme weather events 50 years ago or 100 years ago. Global weather-related disaster losses, according to Munich Insurance, are coming down. So what is happening is extreme weather events, if we take proper precaution, we can reduce the damage. Like if there is going to be heavy flooding, and if you give early warning, you can prevent damage, especially damage of people dying. Property damage you can't avoid. So damage is going down. And finally, a lighter side, as everybody is saying, I think this graph shows, this is the warming by the models. This is the cartoon that came in 2015. You see, the actual warming, actual temperature is lower, while the climate prediction is becoming bigger and bigger, and the scientists are trying to balance their mind. I think that's all I have to say. I'd like to thank you once again, and I'm very happy to see a large crowd here, all belonging to climate realists. I hope you can spread my word among your friends and other community, and I will be happy to answer your questions. I don't hear very well, so perhaps if I can't hear, Eric will tell me what your question is. Thank you again very much.